Rosebuds, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and thank you so much for joining me. If you're new, hit that subscribe button so you can become a Rosebud too. Today we're going to talk about 4 books every single young entrepreneur or recent college graduate should read. I'm going to go through these books in the order that I read them. However, stay tuned for the very last book because I definitely believe that book changed my life in the biggest way. The first book is The Magic of Thinking Big by David J. Schwartz. I'm going to read the front and the back of the book just to let you guys know what's on the front and back side. More than 6 million readers around the world have improved their lives through the lessons of The Magic of Thinking Big. The teachings of Dr. David J. Schwartz, long regarded as one of the foremost experts on motivation, will help you work better, manage better, earn more money, and most important of all, live better, finding greater happiness and peace of mind. The Magic of Thinking Big contains the secrets to getting the most out of your job, your marriage and family life, and your community. You don't need to be an intellectual or have innate talent to attain great success and satisfaction. But you do need to learn and understand the habit of thinking big and behaving in ways that will get you there. Start now to discover how your thinking can make magic for you. So he also has these bullet points on the back, and they read, "You are what you think. Believe you can succeed and you will. Cure yourself of the fear of failure. Do what you fear and fear disappears. Think and dream creatively. Stretch your mind. See what can be, not just what is. Make your attitudes into allies. Broadcast good news. Turn defeat into victory. There's a good side to every situation. A goal is a dream acted upon. Use goals to help you grow. Think like a leader. You are lifted to success by those around you." So the front of the book is just the title, The Magic of Thinking Big, and acquire the secrets of success, achieve everything you've always wanted. So he's talking about personal property, financial security, power and influence, the ideal job, satisfying relationships, and a rewarding and enjoyable life. So the main theme of the book is the author suggesting that creative thinking is the driving force behind success. This book is great if you want to cultivate positivity, defeat disbelief, set yourself up for success, decide who you really want to be, make what you really want clear, and getting to work on bringing that into a reality. So how this book changed my life. Let's begin on how I ended up with the book. One day I went to my professor's office hours. This was first semester, senior year, and I literally broke down to her. This is for it's an internship class. We have to have an internship and take a class before we can graduate. So I went to her and I broke down it's a dub, nobody's hiring me, I cannot get an internship. I don't know why, it's just not happening. And then I was just telling her all of the fears I had for stepping out into the real world. Keep in mind, this is the first semester of my senior year, not even second in college. And I'm just breaking down, and she gives me this really real talk about life and her story and how she overcame. And when I showed up to her class, later that week or maybe the next week, she has this assignment where she laid all these books out on the table and she made everyone go pick a book up, and that was basically our reading book. And they were all these self-help books that she had, motivational, inspirational, and she actually told me that I was the one who inspired that assignment because she realized at that moment that these seniors are really scared about walking out into the real world. They're really concerned about if they're going to swim or sink, and that's why she assigned that assignment. She wanted all of us to read a book to just get the ball rolling, get our motivation going, and I will never forget that. So as I'm reading this book for my class, the ball really got to rolling in my head about fitness. I worked out all the time anyway. That was a really big deal to me. So I thought, why don't I put out a fitness program? And this is where R30R came from. If you've been rocking with me for a minute, you know I put out this program called R30R. What is it? Rose's 30-day results? Yeah, Rose's 30-day results is what it stood for. and it was basically a fitness challenge I had, and people enrolled. So that's what started, really, after R30R, that's what really started Get Right with Rose. And if you're currently watching this video, I just really want to thank you for supporting me in this whole journey with Get Right with Rose and social media. You've seen my highs and my lows, so to thank you, I want to offer you a 40% off one of my programs using the code BOOKREV. Enter that code on my website, 40% off any workout program of your choice. My treat to you. Thank you guys. However, why this book is good for recent graduates and young entrepreneurs, as I just said, this book helped me launch, or at least got the ball rolling for me to launch my own business. That in itself speaks volumes. I just truly believe this book will help you find what you truly want out of life and your very own definition of success. Not society's definition of success or Instagram's definition of success, but your own definition of success that's true to you. So my critiques of this book was actually written in the 50s. So there are a lot of historical references. Maybe at the time they weren't historical, but now they're historical, obviously. And if you don't like history, that could possibly be a problem for you. But if you do, it's totally fine and it's pretty eye-opening. Secondly, as I said, it's a pretty old book, so it has an old feel to it and old ways of life. Like, I don't like how he references women. For sure, the woman is cooking and cleaning and raising the kids at the house. Like, what? So that may throw you back a little bit in the book as well. And also, I just feel like it was written for that day and age. The second book that every young entrepreneur, especially, and recent graduate, honestly, at any age, you should read this book. Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I hope I said that right. This book right here, first of all, this man was featured on Oprah. Let's just think about that. The Oprah Winfrey herself. Anyway, let me read you guys the front and the back of the book so you know what's up. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the #1 personal finance book of all time, explodes the myth that you need to earn a high income to become rich, especially in a world where technology, robots, and the global economy are changing the rules. Teaches why acquiring and building assets can be more important to your future than a big paycheck, and the tax advantages investors and business owners enjoy. Challenges the beliefs that your house is an asset, as millions of people learned firsthand when the housing bubble burst and the subprime mortgage fiasco raged. Reminds us why we can't count on the school system to teach our kids about money and why this critical life skill is more important today than ever before. Explains what to teach your kids about money so they can be prepared for the challenges and opportunities of today's world and enjoy the rich life they deserve. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a starting point for anyone looking to gain control of their financial future. Quoted by USA Today. And the front says, what the rich teach their kids about money that the poor and middle class do not. Rich Dad, Poor Dad with updates for today's world in 9 new study session sections. Okay, so in this book, the author tells a story about having a rich dad and a poor dad, well, poor but highly educated dad. Both of these dads taught him how to achieve success, however, they had entirely different approaches. Throughout the book, the author essentially compares the 2 sets of principles he's learning from the rich dad and the poor dad, and ultimately he comes to the conclusion that the poor dad believes the principles that the majority of people tend to believe when it comes to money. This book is perfect if you want to learn how to make your money work for you rather than working for money, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about if you buy the book. How this book changed my life. This was the first book that helped me begin thinking in depth financially. I was basically using all the poor but highly educated dad principles. I began investing my money. I began strategizing ways to grow my asset column. And I also began really getting serious about learning about real estate. I use this app called Stitcher, and I listen to this podcast called Bigger Pockets. It's a podcast that tells you all about real estate, how people got into real estate, start up, where they are now. So this book is perfect for recent graduates and young entrepreneurs because it helps you set yourself up to not get in the rat race right after graduation or right when you start your business, you're in the rat race. So the younger you are, the better when it comes to building your asset column, strategizing ways to stay out the rat race. Once again, the younger the better. So honestly, even if you aren't a recent graduate, even if you aren't a young entrepreneur, you're in high school and you're watching this video, start thinking about these things now. Start seriously thinking about these things now, because if you move different now, you will live different later. Actually, I said that wrong. If you live different now, you will live different later. While your friends are out partying and brunching and this and this and that and that, you can be strategizing ways to build your asset column. You can be strategizing ways to make sure you break the generational curse your family may plague when it comes to finances and wealth. Start now. Start young on these things so you can learn. It's a totally different ballgame when you start at 20, 21 than when you start at 40, 41. Imagine all the more years of experience you have. So my critiques on this book: if you're a person who reads something and wants to act now, make sure you have some coins in your pocket. Let's say that. Me, I can read something and be like, oh, bet, like note it, save it for when I can do it. But right now, I don't have the means to bring everything I learned in this book to life. So that's my only con. Also, other critique, I heard that the story was made up, but don't quote me on that. But this is just what I heard. The story isn't entirely true. I don't think it's entirely made up, but it's not entirely true either. Book number 3 is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Reading the front and the back of the book, let's start with the back. Achieve your maximum potential with How to Win Friends and Influence People. Go after the job you want and get it. Take the job you have and improve it. Take any situation and make it work for you. Originally published during the depths of the Great Depression and equally valuable during booming economies or hard times, Dale Carnegie's rock-solid, time-tested advice has carried countless people up the ladder of success in their business and personal lives. The most groundbreaking guidebook of all time introduces a simple and life-changing concept such as a simple way to make a good first impression, how to criticize other people and not be hated for it, an easy way to become a good conversationalist, what to do when nothing else works, making people glad to do what you want, and much, much more. Front of the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, the only book you need to lead you to success. 80 years in print. So this is a book that basically teaches you how to build better relationships with people. We all swear we know how to build relationships with people until we don't, until we realize how many enemies and how much beef we have. But more importantly, it helps you create a more positive lifestyle if you really implement his techniques. Realistically, none of us are going to implement all of his techniques. But if you put a few in your daily routine, it'll definitely start changing the way you carry yourself throughout your day, which is never a bad thing. But even Carnegie himself said the principles in this book will only work if they come from the heart. I am not advocating a bag of tricks. I am telling a new way of life. So this book changed my life because I am that person I was speaking of. I am the person who has made a lot of enemies throughout life, has had a lot of beef, has had a lot of just super awkward conversations, all because I never properly learned how to speak to people, how to communicate with people. I learned how to speak well, just not to other people. I was raised in Mississippi around all boys. I have brothers and 3 nephews, and when you're around all boys and you're the only girl, let me just say that teaches you to have a rather quick tongue, and that quick tongue kept me in trouble throughout life. But you guys, this book was a game changer in how I spoke with my clients and my customers. And even when it comes to potential clients, these days I let them talk themselves into working with me and training with me. because my goal is to let them know that they need me. This book is a really great sales and marketing book as well. Why this book is perfect for recent graduates and young entrepreneurs. If you're a recent graduate and you're going to the workforce, to the 9-to-5 life, some of these tips in the book could probably help you get a promotion. You never know. You may need the extra money. But when it comes to entrepreneur life, as I just said, it helps me communicate with my clients and customers more in depth. People love themselves. People love to speak about themselves. Let people speak about themselves. It makes them feel great. Why not make people feel great? That's more money in your pocket. And you just let someone vent to you for the day, which probably is a release for them. Why not? But also, this book can help you stand out in meetings and amongst your coworkers. Critiques on this book, some people feel, not me, but I've done my research. Some people feel this book's sole purpose is to exploit friendships for the sake of political and or financial gain. Others say this book is a downright manipulative book. But I think it all comes down to how you use the techniques that Carnegie is teaching you. If you're using them for manipulative ways, of course you're going to think it's a manipulative book. But if you're using them for positivity and not simply for the sake of growing your pockets, but also for the sake of just learning how to be a better human being, maybe it's not that bad of a book. Finally, the last book is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. All right, reading the front and the back of the book. Here's the back. Considered one of the most inspiring and impactful books ever written. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People has captivated readers for 25 years. It has transformed the lives of presidents and CEOs and educators and parents. In short, millions of people of all ages and occupations have used its step-by-step pathway to adapt to change and to take advantage of the opportunities that change creates. Let's see, is this important? So it has a lot of recognitions and it sold a lot of copies in a lot of different languages, basically. The front of the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Powerful Lessons in Personal Change. This is a book on leading a happy, productive, and purposeful existence. His central theme is maturing. At any point in our lives, we are either dependent, which is relying on others, independent, which is relying on ourselves, or interdependent, which is collaborating with others to achieve more together than what you can alone. However, there is no skipping from dependence to interdependence. Covey, he guides us step by step through this book how we can achieve that. And through achieving this is how we will ultimately learn how to be our most effective selves. And the brother has a point. This is the book, y'all. If you read any of these books, any of these 4 books, read this book. This book changed my life because it changed my mindset. And once we change our mindset, we can change our practices. And once we change our practices, we can change our habits. And once we change our habits, we can change our life. While many other books somewhat felt like quick fixes, this book, its central focus was changing your perspective on life. If you change how you see the world, there's no other way than to change yourself, because you're changed by how you see the world. You are how you see the world. You respond to the world by how you see the world, how you've learned to see the world. We subconsciously give so much power and control to so many outside factors, way more than we probably actually know. Also, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People helped me learn how to schedule my life, believe it or not. It taught me how to do a weekly and a daily schedule. There's literally like a whole section in the book that shows you how you should be breaking down your planner to be the most effective person you can be. And actually, get your goals done, get the things you said you were going to do done, and discovering what's really important and what's simply urgent. Another thing a lot of us don't understand is the way we see the world is through our center. So if you're a money-centered person, the way you see the world is always going to be based on how much is it, can I afford it, so on and so forth. If you're a family-centered person, everything on your mind is going to be how will this affect the kids? How will this affect my wife? Da 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 da. Or if you're a God-centered person, you're probably thinking, how will God see me? so on and so forth. So it helped me understand what my center was, because what my center is really affects how I see the world. Y'all, this book made me understand why Warren Buffett reads for the first 5 hours of his day every single day. I need to get on that level. Well, I heard he does that, but I wouldn't be surprised because it's Warren Buffett. Y'all, you should really read books. You should really read books. Anyway, this book is perfect for the recent graduate or young entrepreneur, because when you're out here in this grown folk world, you are either going to swim or sink, and people don't care about you. That's what I'm realizing. All your life, people have cared about you, and you step out here, people don't care about you no more. So you got to care about yourself. And the best way to care about yourself is to care about your mental health and to just be an effective person, get things done. So if there's anything that can really mentally prepare you for this grown people and adulting world, is this book. And this mindset will give you an advantage on mastering your self-control and becoming less reactive towards life and more proactive. If you don't know what that means, being reactive towards life is basically reacting to everything that's happening in life, reacting to outside forces, situations, or things you don't really have control over. You're always a reaction, but you're never proactive about anything. You're never the one who decides to take control of the situation. Somebody cuts you out on the street, you can either react or be proactive, like, oh, the brother. It's up to you. Your happiness is in your hands. You can be reactive or proactive about your business. If you're an entrepreneur, are you going to be reactive and sit up there and cry every time someone tells you no? Or are you going to be proactive and be like, well, I have a sales minimum to reach, so on to the next person. You're proactive about the situation. You understand that life is in your hands, that you can decide to live whatever kind of life you want to live because it's truly in your hands. That's the difference between reactive and proactive. So my only critique about this book, my only critique is that it took 70 pages to get to the juice. 70 pages of reading about this man's children and wife and all this other stuff to get to the juice of the book, to get to the heart of the book. So I'm not gonna lie, it took me a minute to get through those 70 pages because it's hard to keep picking a book up. Whew, but the reviews said it was good, but you picking it up and it ain't it. So 70 pages through, you gonna be good. The book gonna get good, I promise. Just stick it out, tough it through. But you do need to read those 70 pages to really understand what's going on in the rest of the book. That's my only critique. But to wrap this all up, I understand that it's hard for some people to read self-help books because it really is like admitting that, okay, I need help in something or there's a problem. But if you ask me, that's the beauty of it. The beauty is knowing that there's always room for growth, not getting complacent and the things you've learned in life or the wisdom you have already. Self-help books and Black history books are actually my personal favorite types of books to read. Let me know in the comments what kind of books you like to read, or let me know a book that you thought should have been on this list. I'm really interested to know what you guys are reading. Yeah, give us some tips, help us sister out. I'm open to reading new books. Other people want to read new books, help us out. Drop some self-help books in the comments, you guys, or just your favorite book in general. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, please, because it really helps me out. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. I love you all, Rosebuds, and I will see you later. Bye.